I'm going to mute everyone. So, Amy, if you want to start talking about the diamond training, and then after that, we can bounce over to Kristen and Ashley can share whatever they have from the general training. So, can you guys mute yourselves, or do you want me to? I can just mute everyone. Hold on. And then Amy, you can just unmute yourself.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so the diamond breakfast. So basically, they just had, I think it was like 5 or 6 coaches, and they kind of, each one just got up and introduced themselves and just gave like really their top tips. And the whole gist of this training, both the breakfast and Kim's training, was just at this point in the year, just not to overcomplicate anything, just really go to basics, make everything as easy as you can on yourself so that you're as consistent as possible. So basically, the first girl who got up there, her name was Taylor, I think it's like Molinaro or something. I don't know if you know her, Kristen. So her big thing was just posting. So again, you know, this is the thing, I think everybody just struggles with being consistent. So her thing was her 4 things. Post about the old you, what you have changed since you started Beachbody, the new you, and then a call to action. So, you know, an example was her thing was, you know, she was terrified of the gym. And so, you know, the at-home workouts were appealing. She didn't know where to start. So the challenge groups were appealing. She had no energy. Now she drinks Shakeology, you know, that kind of thing. Her other like huge point, like my big takeaway from her is that when somebody gives you a like, you know, because all these people are out there watching you, but a lot of people don't comment, but anybody who likes anything, that's eye contact. So that's like you're walking down the street and somebody gives you eye contact. That's then your permission to start a conversation. So on Facebook or social media, like Instagram, Pinterest, anything, like a like, a heart, anything that anybody does, that's your permission then to start a conversation. Like you have to get over that barrier of them having to talk or comment or anything. Like just that little simple like is your permission to say like, hey, what's up? I saw you liked my thing. So that's your eye contact, and that's how you have to look at it. The next person who got up was Cam, who I know Kristen knows really well, Cam Niskatch. And her big thing was building your own brand outside of Beachbody. So that's something Kristen's been really successful at. So, I mean, I think you look at, you know, Kristen's posting, and you know, I'd probably say 90% of Kristen's posts really don't have anything to do with Beachbody. She's just sort of, you know, she's kind of given herself this like reality TV show, you know, like she just posts. And that's kind of Cam's thing, you know, you have to open up to people. You have to build relationships. You have to strategize and get like-minded people. And then, you know, just draw them in and work with them. And just remember, like anybody can buy any of these products anywhere. So you really, really, really have to brand yourself and set yourself apart from everybody else. And remember that people who are like you are going to come to you. So, you know, you look at like at the breakfast, Cam's whole entire table, like if you had put a bag over everybody's head, they all looked exactly like her. Like they were dressed like her. They had arms like her. I mean, that's like her people. So that's what you're going to attract. So you kind of have to remember that when you're posting, like post to attract people who are like you, because that's what you're going to get. The other thing, let's see, somebody else had talked about vision boards that are really important this time of year, but narrowing down to what they called focus boards. And those focus boards should be 3 categories with goals. So instead of like these really broad vision boards, like, oh, I'm going to own this vacation home one day, they should be really, really specific. So an example would be like 3 categories. Like 1 would be health and wellness. 2 would be your Beachbody business, which would include like your income goals, and like 3 would be your hobbies. So like really, you're going to be a super boring Beachbody coach if you don't have any hobbies. Like I think I realized at this training that Beachbody is my hobby. So that makes me like super boring, which is why I have nothing to post about, because really like work is, I have, a full-time job that's really full-time, and Beachbody is my hobby. So I'm really boring. So like, I think that's where, you have to have something else to make you interesting, I post about Slick and I'll get like 100 likes, and, so you have to find that, whether it's your kids, your dog, you look at Katie, I mean, she posts something about Ellington and it just blows up. So that's where, thank you, Kristen. You have to kind of pay attention to that, and pay attention to what kind of likes you're getting. But yeah, doing a focus board and really focusing on specific things. So health, wellness, your Beachbody business, and your hobbies. And then again, posting about those. Goal setting and reverse engineering your goals. And I'll hit that again in a second. So these are again, just these top coaches talking about these things. Yeah, this quote, I persevere, I am relentless, I persist, and I keep going. So then Melanie Mitro talked about the leadership ladder. And I don't know, have we talked about that here as a group much, Kristen?
No, I haven't done a call. Nikki just recently did a call on the leadership ladder just a few weeks ago. And the recording for that is posted in Team Resurrection, or you can find it on her YouTube channel, which is just Nikki Kubin Mitten. Okay,
because that's something. It's really interesting. Do you guys know where the leadership ladder is? Have you seen it, and do you guys know anything about it now? Okay, so if you log on your Coach Online Office, and you log on, and the very first thing you see is the you see in front your Success Club points, and it shows you, it's like your graphic right in the middle of your page when you log on your Coach Online Office, and there are tabs, and one of the tabs is your leadership ladder. And on that leadership ladder, you guys should definitely take a look at this next time you log on your Coach Online Office. It tells you your last month's commission, what your last month's Success Club points were, what your week leg volume is, and what your personally sponsored coaches, if you have any, like what they're doing. So these things, like your leadership ladder, is really where your income is going to be coming from. So as you guys are signing coaches, I mean, how many of you guys who has a coach under them? Do you guys, Ashley, you have coaches under you, right? Yeah, so you want to be looking at this leadership ladder because this is directly related to your income. So like what Melanie was saying was, instead of focusing on like Success Club and things like that, like she's really having people focus on leadership ladder to try to like reverse engineer where their income is.
Yeah, the leadership ladder is also great because it's sort of a benchmarking system. It's sort of, if you go in there and look at it, it's sort of setting your goals for you and letting you know like what you should be learning and what you should be achieving in your business if you want to be an Emerald coach or be.
Right, because basically what happens is the very first thing you want to be doing is you want your, like if you're signing coaches, you want your personally sponsored coaches to be hitting Success Club, or at least getting one Success Club point. So your very first rung of your leadership ladder is a business starter. So you can be a diamond coach and not even be achieving business starter. So that's like me. I mean, I'm, a diamond coach and I don't have coaches under me achieving Success Club. So, I'm not hitting my leadership ladder goal. So I'm not going to be earning income. So these things are really important. So if you kind of look at these metrics, it breaks down the business for you. So then you really figure out like, oh, holy shit, like I'm not really running my business. So I think it kind of breaks it down. We should definitely maybe do the next team call on the leadership ladder, because it kind it kind of helps you, because I think we're all kind of out there going like, oh my God, how do I run a business? What do I do? How do I get people under me? And I think it kind of gives you focus, and kind of shows you too what you need to be doing to be successful. Because really, like, you need to get started, and then as soon as you sign somebody else, you need to get them doing exactly what you did immediately, which I know I didn't do. So I think it's really important is repeating what you did, and then just keeping on repeating that. So we should definitely, I think maybe coming up, we should probably do that. So
yeah, that's a great idea. Amy, can you, I'm still going to be here, so you guys can keep talking, but I have to go out and get Micah.
okay.
So I'm just going to disappear for a second.
Okay. So yeah, so that was pretty much the end of it, with the diamond breakfast. And again, I think just that's something we should probably address, because I think it'll give you guys kind of a vision of where you need to be and where you need to be going to grow your business. Because it's like, once you sign somebody, they should immediately be doing what you're doing, and working as hard as you're working, and that's what's going to make you grow and help you pay for your Shakeology and, pay for your products. And that's what we all want, because nobody wants to be spending money, so.
I finally just got my third customer.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
I know, because I have a bunch of like discount coaches, but I finally got my third customer a couple of weeks ago. So I'm like, yay for commission,
I know. It helps.
Reoccurring commission. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys want to go into the Kim training, or do you want me to start out?
I don't care. I can start out if you want. I can talk about the product, and I have some notes on that, what we did for that. And then
I have like so many different notes. You guys can go, and then
shut up, you're talking. All right. I mean, there's like 3 of us on here. I mean, so he basically just, covered the 3 vital behaviors. But the first one he started with was being a product of the product. And he talked a lot about like just recognizing what's important to you and making sure you're putting those important things first. Being present in what you're doing, being organized in what you do. He talked about going back and rereading or rewriting your why, and, what are your associated goals to that. And then that will sort of help you clarify what your priorities are and what you should be focusing on. And then the other thing that I thought was funny that I have a small note about was, multitasking is a myth. That if you think you're a good multitasker, you're not. Somebody just hasn't told you. Basically just means you're not focusing on what you should be doing. And I'm the queen of that. I jump around an awful lot. I feel like I'm organized, but I definitely struggle to focus on one thing start to finish. I hop around a lot. So all of these sort of topics led into a breakout on time management. So what we did, we broke out into like groups of, 8 to 10 people, and he would give like discussion questions, and we would get 5 minutes to talk as a group on different topics. So, the first topic we talked about was best practices for tips on time management. So just a couple of things that I jotted down that the different groups had come up with were, having a day planner and literally writing out in pencil either on Sunday for the week or, on the evening before for the next day, like your main things that you need to do and checking them off. Whether it's a planner that you physically write in, whether it's like an Outlook calendar where you're tracking all of your things that you're doing for the day. Another person had recommended the Google Keep app. I've never heard of it, but Kristen, yeah, you want to talk?
It's just what it is. Yeah, it's I have it right on my phone. I have the Samsung phone, I don't know if you guys can see. Probably not. Yeah.
Too bright.
But you can color code things. So I have all of my like Beachbody business stuff I have in pink. All of my 21-day fix stuff I have in blue. All of my Body Bee stuff I have in green. So it's like basically a way to organize your thoughts. I have it as like a widget on my phone so that if something pops into my head, I open it, I jot down the note, it's automatically saved. I can go back to it. I use it every day. So definitely something to look into.
Okay. Another tip somebody else had was to create a to-do list and only put like 3 things on it. So have like one giant running list of all of the things you want to do, but for each day, only pick 3 things to do and do those 3 things. And then if you get to any of the other things on your side list, that's awesome. But if you don't, as long as you got those 3 things done, you feel productive, you feel like you accomplished something, you know, it's positive versus negative. Like you're feeling like you're getting things accomplished versus, you know, not getting your list nearly all the way done. Food prepping, you know, on Sundays, that was another one. I mean, and I think the overarching principle for being a product of the product is, you know, having good time management, being accountable, and having self-discipline. Those were the couple of big key points that I jotted down for that one.
Another thing that he said, whenever it came to that was so many times people, when they post things, he said how important it was to just be yourself, to be 100% real and raw, because that's what's going to attract people. People don't want to see you being perfect 100% of the time. They need to know, like, we're human. We screw up too. Like, you know, you have dessert and, you know, it's 1,000 calories. My husband told me that a dessert that we had on Friday was like 1,000 some calories. And I'm like, okay, wonderful. But we split it. We're not, you know, you're not perfect. You have to be raw and real so that they can kind of like know that it's a safe zone. It's okay to be like that, to not be perfect.
Yep. Amy, do you have anything else on product of the product?
No, I think that's pretty good.
Okay.
The other thing that he said, I don't know if it was, remember whenever he was talking about advertising, like Walmart versus Target? He was talking about how Walmart basically just advertises low prices, whereas Target targets people, literally. They target, you know, families, they target moms, they target pregnant people, they target people with pets. You know, it gets you engaged because there's something that they have on their commercials that you're gonna be attracted to, and then you're gonna want to go to that place. You know what I mean?
Because you don't want to end up on the People of Walmart website.
The other thing, I don't know if this had anything to do with that too, or if it was after. He was explaining how whenever he went to buy a refrigerator in the past couple of weeks, and he never buys from the first place he stops at. He always goes to a couple of different places. And the first place he went to, he walked in and the guy was like, you know, okay, what are you looking for? I'll show you these top models. They're the best models that we have. And, you know, he went, he said he was nice, nothing against him. And then he went to the second place and he didn't ask him, you know, right off the bat, like, oh, you're shopping for refrigerators? Okay, let me show you the first, you know, let me show you the top of the line. His first questions were, okay, do you have kids? How big is your family? What are the ages of your kids? And he went on to say that, you know, he asked him these questions so that he could figure out the best refrigerator to suit their family's needs. You know, if their kids play soccer, this is going to keep this drink chilled. And, you know, this is going to be good for dinners that are, you know, on the go. This shelf breaks easily. If you have kids that are young and getting into the refrigerator, you might not want this model. You know, you take the time and you invest in the people that come to you, and they're going to want to stick around.
Yeah, so that was along the lines of he was talking about building trust with people and connecting and
Yeah.
finding common ground and things like that. So, again, those are the things we're going to be doing now. I get, planting seeds and, not just going in for the kill when when we hear somebody breathing on the other end of the line, or, when we get that like or that comment, but, actually asking questions and, working on those invites. Yeah, I think that was all on that inviting, and just
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we moved on, then we moved on to inviting.
Right.
Ashley, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I was doing exactly what you said, multitasking, right when you started. So I missed the first part of your your point there. When you were saying to make the list, you're making 2 lists, one with 3 like absolutes, and then the rest are.
Yeah. So I think basically having one giant master list, but then each day only picking 3 things from those lists and having a small tiny to-do list where you have those 3 things and you focus on those 3 things. And if you get all those done maybe by 9 a.m. and you have the rest of the day to check off a couple other, that's great and you'll feel really good. But don't have that whole list be your to-do list every single day, because then you're always going to feel like you never did enough.
Okay, great.
Remember, I don't know, Katie, one of the top coaches in Nashville, when they did their spiel, that was one of their things. They had their top things that they never went to bed without doing.
Yeah.
And the list was short, it was a short list. And then there were the other things that were they're bonus things. But yeah, and that was Kim's, thing was, again, don't overcomplicate your life, make your, and, that was another thing too. And when I did my diamond training, they had that thing, they did a training and, they have, there's all these different time management methods, but, you basically make your buckets or whatever, and you kind of have to simplify and, don't go crazy, again, pick your 3 things, but then, pick the things that you need to put, your priorities to each day,
Right. One thing that I've been doing, I don't know if this is beneficial to any of you, especially because I primarily work from home, but is I time everything. So I kind of make a list, and I used to do it every Sunday. I think that's typically what Nikki does when I was listening to one of her calls. But I try to do it every night now, things that I have to get done tomorrow. And that's why I was asking Ashley again what she said, because then Monday or whatever day I wake up, this morning I woke up and I had between 8 o'clock and 12 o'clock where it was open. And I went through, and at 8 o'clock I wrote invites. At 9 o'clock I wrote forming. And at 10 o'clock, I don't even remember what it was. Oh, it was creating posts for the rest of the week. So I put a timeline or a specific time of when I'm going to focus on getting it done. I mean, I don't know if that's helpful, but it helped me start to actually get things done instead of just multitasking and barely getting anything done.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So
One thing that go ahead, Amy.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, I'll remember because it's right in front of me.
Well, and I thought he had a couple quotes that were amazing. One of the things he said was, have a goal and make decisions. Your life will turn on the small decisions you make in life. And I think, Katie, you're a great example. You're getting your stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's inspiring.
I get everything done but the workouts. So because I don't have a transformation to show, because I'm a freaking fragile little ant, I don't have, proof.
Wow. Yeah, but you know what? But you're so consistent, and you're there, and you're doing the business, and I you know what? I wouldn't guess that you're not working out.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't work out really consistently at all, because I can't, but it doesn't really impact my business at all. I mean, I post about working out when I can, Katie, your posts are so good. No one even would question,
I just think that that's lately what the gap is, because I get a lot of interaction, but not much follow through or commitment. So I'm wondering if it's that, because when I look at everything and I log everything, that's the thing that's lacking.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be that, but I do think it's just, this time of year is just so hard. Like,
Yeah.
and the closer, even though there's people are starting to think about, you know, New Year's resolutions and things, but it's still not the time of year where you're getting a lot of commitment. Those are the people that are going to come around come January, but, you know, like, we're a week away from Thanksgiving, and everyone's thinking about like eating all the turkey and stuffing, and then, you know, Christmas is right around the corner. So it's just, even though people are seeing your post and they're thinking about doing it, it's just not really, it's just a tough time of year to get people to actually commit, which is why, you know, I've been talking for the last few weeks, and I'm sure that, you know, I know that's what part of what we were talking about with Kim on Friday, and I'm sure he talked about on Saturday, is just, you know, this time of year is really just about planting those seeds and just staying consistent. So I mean, if you're not consistently doing the vital behaviors, obviously your business is going to reflect that. But as far as like working out goes, I mean, people know that you have already built up the credibility that people know that you're serious about your health and fitness. Like, if you're not constantly posting about it, people aren't questioning. Like, I would never have known. Like, people aren't questioning that really.
Yeah. I get you.
I think the other stuff you do too makes you credible. I mean, you always were posting that you're going to tennis. I mean, that's a workout. Coaching's a workout. It doesn't have to be the 21-day fix 30-minute workout, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to mention that he brought up a book that he's recommended. It's called Jab, 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 Right Hook. But I did not write down the author.
I have it.
Yeah, I have it.
I have it. And I took a picture of the slide that he had for that too.
I have the book in the other room. I can tell you the author. But yeah, I mean, you can look it up. It's
yeah, pretty easy title to remember.
Amy, do you have written down the book he recommended to us on Friday? If not, I can run and grab it. It was something I wanted to address, and I can talk about that at the end of the call about the, I forget what he called that, the pushers and the pausers. Basically, like, if you're someone who's fallen off the wagon and you're trying to regain momentum and credibility, and he recommended a book for that. But just remind me, I'll talk about that at the end.
You know what? I don't have it written down.
I have it, so I'll grab it. Just don't let me forget.
And I love this other quote, Jim Rohn. It's success is neither magical nor mysterious. That was and you know, it goes on. It's the natural consequence of consistently applying the basic fundamentals. So, and you know, that's the huge thing. If you listen to every coach, every top coach that was up there giving their thing, I mean, that's the only common thread that everybody has. I mean, you go to Summit, it's all walks of life. I mean, every color, shape, size, you know, skinny, fat, tall, you know, black, Hispanic, I mean, everything. But the one common thread is that they're consistent. They do their vital behaviors. I mean, that's it. And it's the only common thread with all of them. So it's, you know, it's proof.
He actually had a slide in the very beginning that said, studies prove that up to 90% of our daily actions are rooted in our habit, which I know that Amy, you were telling me, you know, you asked me, you know, about the programs that I've done and if I've completed, and I think Ashley did too, if I've completed any of them, and I've completed every one that I've ever done and done them over again. And now it is naturally my habit. If I skip a day of working out, I feel weird. Like I used to hate working out, and now I look forward to it. And it's so true. It is a habit. I know that's my strong point. You know, Katie said that her, you know, that's her weak point. That's my strong point. My weak point is is the business side. I have no issues talking to people. Ashley can attest to that. I'll talk to anybody. But it just, it is what it is. I think that another thing that I wanted to touch on, the very end, whenever he was talking about, like, before the whole Letterman jacket thing, when he showed us that video of that guy dancing in that field by himself, he looked like an ass. Like, he looked ridiculous. And everybody laughing, and he's explaining, he's like, yeah, look at him. He's dancing. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He keeps on pushing and he keeps on going. He doesn't care if people are watching him. And he's like, you know what? And somebody else comes along, and he continued on. Basically, he strung it out, and as more people came, he was like, all right, that means now he's an Emerald coach, and more people are dancing with him. Now he's a Diamond. He has the whole place behind him. And the key to it was persistence and just keeping on going regardless of what people think of you. There are going to be people that don't agree with what you're trying to accomplish, and things along that line. But if you stay consistent and you keep pushing, eventually people are going to want to get behind you. It's going to be an attraction. They're going to get behind you and follow you. And that's what I'm hoping. I'm dancing. That's all. Amy, did you work out today?
Me? Yeah, 8 o'clock this morning.
Okay, good. He said too about having accountability partners, like not even just success partners.
Yeah.
Have people that you stay accountable to, that you trust and you feel good around. Like, I love that.
I'm sorry because I missed like a gap in the middle of that with Micah. Did we cover everything from the training, or are we still going?
I think that's basically it. We just basically the 3 vital behaviors and just lots of sharing best practices for that. But
his Letterman jacket, that was such an awesome story.
And he's just so cute.
He is, right?
Yes, he really is. I think my favorite beach buddy person that I've met so far. He's just incredible. His personality is so awesome.
Yeah. He's funny.
And he's just, and everything he says is gold. He just, everything he says is so invaluable. He just is so insightful and has really great advice. When Amy and I were able to sit down with him on Friday, one of the things that we talked about was, just give me 1 second. Sorry.
Is he trying to take his pants off again?
Always. Never ends. Yeah, one of the things that we were talking about was, the struggle with this time of year and how it's really hard not only to motivate others, but to keep ourselves motivated as well, because you're doing double the work for half the results, and it gets really frustrating, and you start to feel like you're not gaining any traction, and it gets discouraging. You start to feel like it's a reflection of you and that you're not having success. But actually, that struggle is perfectly natural. It's exactly what you should be experiencing this time of year in this business. We're all experiencing that same sort of uphill battle. And he gave this analogy about driving through the mountains, and you're using twice as much gas to go half the distance just because you're going uphill. But what ends up happening is when you stay consistent and you continue to work hard, you reach the top of the hill and you're just kind of coasting down. And that really is what January is like. Like I said to you guys last week, I think I hit Success Club 18 last January, and I didn't do any inviting because I was so busy responding to messages. I didn't even have time to invite. And I still was just selling challenge packs like crazy because people were just so excited in the new year about how they're going to make their New Year's resolutions happen. But I know that Amy talked about this in the beginning, but one of the things that Kim talked about on Friday was how to kind of get that momentum back after you've fallen off the wagon, after you've gotten discouraged, whether it's the time of year or things in your personal life, because I have gone through these times in my business as well, where something is going on personally or with my health or with my business, where you just kind of take a step back and fall back a little. You're not fully focused on your business, and that's okay. Those times will happen, but how do you get back in there? And the book that he recommended is called Good to Great, and it's Jim Kahn, but I don't know how you spell that name, so I have to look it up. But the book is called Good to Great, and it's essentially about the concept of the flywheel and how it's like a like a wheel that you're cranking, and how it's really hard and it takes a lot of effort to get that thing moving round and round. But the more work you put into it and you're consistently cranking that wheel, eventually it gains momentum and it's essentially turning on its own. And so the goal is to get from where you're at right now to that point of having that momentum where your business is just kind of, you're staying consistent, you're still working, but your business is kind of growing on its own. And that will happen with consistency. But one of the most important things that he mentioned, and I know you guys hear me drilling this into you and you hear it over and over again, but one of the most important things you can do to regain that momentum is personal development. Because especially this time of year, especially if you're coming back in after a lull period, you're putting in twice as much work. And that means that you're burning twice as much fuel. And it's so important that you're reinvesting into yourself. And personal development is the only way to do that. Personal development is so important so that you're not just burning yourself out. You've got to just keep refueling yourself and reminding yourself that you're capable of doing this, that you're on the right track, that you, even though maybe you're not seeing instant success or instant results, that they will come. So really, consistency is absolutely key to regain. The problem is too, when you fall off track, you lose a little bit of the credibility that you had, because people are always watching you. Even if they're not talking to you, even if they're not ready to commit, they're watching you. And if they see you falling off, then you do lose a little bit of credibility as far as, like, oh, if you're not sticking with it or whatever. But it's not ever too late to get that back. The way to get it back is just to be consistent with those vital behaviors, including that fourth vital behavior, which is posting on Facebook. So yeah, but that book, for anyone who feels like, you're kind of stuck, you're in a lull, or you're having trouble regaining momentum or gaining momentum in the first place, that book, I haven't read it, but he highly recommended it. So I trust his judgment. So I'm sure it's excellent. If you need me to, I can post it in the T page. It just remind me, so I'll totally forget. So, and the other thing he said is, and Michelle, this one's for you, to always go back to your why. And this is something I've found myself doing like weekly lately, because I'm sure it's no surprise to you guys that I, did take a bit of a step back, like August, September from my business, just because of some things going on personally. But you start to, like, when you become disconnected from your business, you really lose focus and lose motivation. You start to question like, why you're even doing this. Like, you're not reaching your goals and you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling inadequate. And going back to you better go to sleep. Going back to your why is really kind of the best motivation you can get. And if you haven't written it down yet, you've got to do it and go back and reread that. Think about it. Think about whether, it's evolving, and really think about what it, not just your reasons for doing this, but what you believe is possible, the change you think is possible in your life through this opportunity, and remind yourself of what you're actually working towards, because there is no better motivation than imagining the life that you know is possible through this opportunity. So that's all I have. Does anybody else have anything related to Kim's training or otherwise. So next week we're going to talk about the leadership ladder.
I have something that doesn't relate to the training, but a reminder for you and a question.
Yeah.
Being that Katie's going to be home, and Michelle, it would be amazing if you came home. Are we going to do a photo shoot?
The only opportunity to do that would be on Sunday the 13th. So I guess we can see how many people would be available for that. Kristen, can you just post in the team page? Because I'm such a space cadet.
I did a little bit. I think like last week I posted something based on like after you.
All right. Instead of that, send me a text message and I'll post it in the team page. I'll see who, because the studio is paid for. We just need to see as long as the studio is available. And then, and I did just get an email back from that shirt lady today, so I've got to call her tomorrow. Finally, I heard back from her. It's like the worst nightmare. Next time we are having team shirts made, I'm delegating this job to someone else.
You should have just let Madison do it. She would have taken care of it.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right. Well, next time, because
it's gone, though.
It's just been one fiasco after another. And, you know, I'm so disorganized, so dealing with it for me is just, it's definitely getting delegated next time around.
I just, even if people don't, like, I know some people don't want to get pictures or
even if you don't want pictures, come, because it's just a really good team building activity to come and hang out in person, meet everybody in person, have some drinks. Michelle, you should seriously think of coming to Pittsburgh for the weekend. You can stay at my house with Katie. The more the merrier. But yeah.
We'll do a GoFundMe on
yes, let's do it. Seriously. Michelle, if you buy your ticket, you're coming.
When is it?
Yeah.
So it's the weekend of December 11th through the 13th. So
that would be awesome. That would be so amazing.
Michelle, you need to put that on your focus board.
Along with my wife. That I've never written down.
So I'm just like all about Kim had like the best quotes ever. What was the thing with the Cheshire Cat and Alice in Wonderland?
Oh yeah.
She asked him,
it was a longer one.
She asked him which way to go.
Yeah.
And then he said,
yeah, wait a minute.
And he said, if you don't know where you want to go, it doesn't matter what path you take or whatever.
Yeah.
It said, which path should I take? And like, she says to him, which path should I take? And then he says to her, well, where do you want to go? And he said from that, like, you need to have a goal and make decisions to act. And that's when he went into your life will turn on the small decisions.
Right, because the Cheshire Cat says if you don't know where you want to go, it doesn't matter what path you take.
Right.
So, again, you know, the goals. So you have to set like those attainable goals and then like, you know, the scary goals. Because remember, Kristen, like we would meet in the bar and we would write them. Didn't we write them on a napkin? Whatever we did, and they worked.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like what's crazy is 5 years ago, I wrote up this sounds ridiculous. I wrote up a contract for my life. And it was all like the things I wanted to accomplish in the next year and the next 3 years and the next 5 years. It's like just out of nowhere, it was probably a year ago, I guess, that Adam, like, I put it away in the file cabinet, and Adam pulled it out, and he was like, is this yours? And I was like, oh my God. And it blew my mind because it was like in 1 year, buy a house, in 3 years, have a baby, in 4 years, start my own business. And every single thing that I had written on that contract had happened like in the time frame that like I had wrote down that it was going to happen. And it like really and truly like setting those goals and writing them down, it just gives power to them. It really does. Yeah. It seems like super cheesy, but it actually works.
Yeah, you have to.
Which is why it's really important to write down your why.
I'm listening to it on audio. Remember I had it at Simon Sinek or whatever his name is. I'm listening to it on.
Oh, the start with why.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm listening to it on audio right now.
Get your stanky feet out of my face. This kid, put your feet away. What a ham. Oh, God. Stop. No, I'm getting it from both sides. All right. On that note, does anyone else have anything? Okay, so Kristen's going to remind me that I think these are my delegation skills. Kristen's going to remind me that to post about the photo shoot. Amy's going to remind me that we're doing a call next week on the leadership ladder. Oh, tomorrow night I'm doing a business opportunity call. I don't know if you have any potentials in the behind the scenes group that we're doing, but even if you don't, you can still advertise that on your page. For anyone that's interested can jump. It'll be a Zoom call. Anyone who's interested can jump on. I'm actually doing it with Cody. So we'll both be talking about like our stories and successes, and also be sharing like some income stuff and talking about, you know, like what we do and all that jazz. So it's at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So feel free to advertise that. I'm going to post about it in the behind the scenes group too.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask, if you posted that.
Yeah, I'll post in there with the link, and then I'll share the link in our team page too, so you can share it with anyone as soon as Cody gives it to me. So.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so nothing else then, ladies? It's so great to see you guys. It's really exciting. You know, I know this time of year is a struggle, but it's awesome to see you ladies on here, just continuing to push forward, keep on trucking. And...
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, one more thing. Kristen.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Carissa next Wednesday.
Oh, awesome.
I think I'm going to get like dark caramel low lights, like
yes,
lights in my hair.
Oh my God, yes. I have to do something with my hair because, so, you know, I've been blonde for like ever, and I got this like whatever they call this because I thought it would be low maintenance, and then I realized as my dark ass roots are coming in that I have like tons of gray hair. So this is not less maintenance at all. So now I'm gonna go back to blonde, so I don't have to worry about it. It's easier. Get your feet on here. Ridiculous. Stop it. All right, I'll let you ladies go. Thank you guys for getting on. It's great to see you as always. And yeah, next week we'll do the leadership ladder, and I think that'll be a really good topic. Amy, I might message you to talk about some stuff for that.
Okay.
Bye, Micah.
Say goodbye.
Bye, Micah.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.